Hey, Sar here. So maybe you're watching this video because you are thinking on taking an English test such as the Ielts, the CAI, the PET, the first certificate. It really doesn't matter. You might be wondering if it is a good idea or a bad idea. Long story short, yeah, you should do it. It's a good idea. Take the test. Yeah, you can close the video now. But if you want to stay, I'm just going to give you like some pros and cons of taking these kind of tests. Some of these are based on opinion, some ideas are based on facts. I hope this video helps you, and yeah, this is just a set of ideas I have regarding these kind of exams. I have taken the IELTS several times. Most of them I have scored C1, and until I got tired of the IELTS and I decided to take the CAE test, which was a nice experience actually. So I hope this insight around standardized testing can help you decide whether you are a language user that needs to take the exam or not. Okay, so well, without further ado, let's start this circus. Okay, so before taking the test or deciding which test to take, you need to know what proficiency level you have and what proficiency level you require for whatever reason you may have. These reasons can come from maybe that you are aiming, you're job hunting, and they require you to have a specific language proficiency level. Some jobs are pretty easy, so they require you to have A2, B1, B2. Being a professor at a university, you should be C1 at least, or you should be able to just teach in your own language. I mean, I don't mind that. But still, if you're going to travel just for tourism, you shouldn't take the exam. Yeah, it's not a good idea for tourists to take the exam, especially the ones that are labeled as academic. If you're interested in studying abroad, like you are applying to a college or university in Australia or the US, you should aim for exams that certify B2 and C1 levels. Mostly B2. I mean, I have been checking some university requirements, and most of them require B2. So it's not like an impossible mark, but I mean, most people can do it without any problem. So if you can see here, I mean, I have this Pokemon here, not just for the fun of it, but yeah, I still like that series. But it presents the evolution of the levels. Most of the exams today have the Common European Framework as our standardized reference, so we can see the skill level of the users. And you can see here that we have the tiny little fire lizard growing until our big fire dragon. That is not a dragon. Poor guy. Anyway, all the levels scale. Okay? All the evaluations scale, and the assessment does too. So the most basic skills, like being able to be, I don't know, asking for a pizza or going to a mall and requesting a specific type of jacket, I mean, that's around A2, B1. If it is just even more simple than that, you can score A1. And if you can go into a debate with, I don't know, this psychologist Jordan B. Peterson, then hey, great, you're either C1 or C2. It's all about evolution. I do agree with the Common European Framework, though. I mean, maybe some people don't agree because they think that we should have a standardized test for each country and each culture apart. And that's not the idea of standardization. Actually, they are not going to ask you specific topics, specific vocabulary. You have to use what you know. You have to show that you're proficient in a language. There might be some sections that are more specific than others in some tests, but it's not that much. Regarding that, you should really consider that why you're taking the test. Yeah. So if it is just as an academic requirement, aim for the Ielts. I do consider that university students should take the Ielts. I think it's not as problematic as others. Yeah, there are some places that accept this exam called the ITEP, ITEP. It's easier than the Ielts, but I think it doesn't give you an accurate measure of your skills in a language. It has a section only focused on grammar, which I don't agree, because we should be focusing on language use. Okay. Anyway, let's go with the part that you want: pros and cons of standardized tests in general. Some people are going to get angry with this, but anyway. Okay, so the first pro, I think, and maybe there's literature behind this that agrees. It gives you an accurate measure of your proficiency level in different skills. Most of the exams are going to give you a score for listening, a score for speaking, a score for reading, and a score for writing. Being writing the bane of my existence. As they focus on the skill and not on certain little things. For example, in my case, and you may notice, my accent might not be the best. And I get confused sometimes when I speak. My pronunciation sometimes flops. I mean, it's normal. I mean, my foreign language, English, it's not the best, but I try to teach with what I know. And I have some Spanish influence as I talk. But believe me, the accent is the least of your problems. Maybe you're concerning yourself too much with that. And I'm pretty sure the ing doesn't go there. But anyway, so when they get like the level in general, you're going to be with a set of scores saying speaking you have 7, writing 6.5, listening you are the master of puppets, so you have 9, and reading you're a bookworm, so 9 again. Basic skills. Some people are going to have it harder in others. I mean, to be sincere, I have a hard time with writing. I think I said that already. But it gives me like an overall picture of my general skills in the language. Needless to say, if you have a problem in L1, that problem might be reflected too in L2. So if your mother language is Spanish and you suck at writing in Spanish, there's a high chance you're gonna suck at writing in English. So you have to train yourself, especially for those things that we are weak on. I trained a lot in writing, and I actually in the CAE scored really well in writing. I know how I did it, so maybe in another video I'm going to post some recommendations for each skill, and it's going to be like in my to-do folder, so I'm gonna do that later. Let's finish this one first. Okay, so I think that the biggest pro that we have here, that the biggest benefit, is that this exam is required for certain job applications and certain study plans, certain universities. So when you have a certification on the proficiency level that you needed, many opportunities are going to appear. Yeah. So if your objective is to study abroad, come on, take the exam. Just don't think about it. Just take it. Yeah. Prepare yourself, of course. If your dream job is in the US, in Canada, Australia, go for it. It's gonna save you a lot of trouble. Yeah, but that's a benefit that not many people consider like, oh, vital. I don't want to do something because of a job. But still, you should consider something positive out of that. This is like a hidden gem between the benefits, but you're not supposed to take the exam lightly, so you should prepare yourself. And as you prepare, I don't know, I still consider my weakness is writing, so I study pretty much before taking the exam, and my writing has gotten better beyond the preparation part, but it has consistently making some amends on the typical mistakes I used to have. Run-on sentences have mostly disappeared. Obviously, spelling has improved way beyond what I expected. Grammar mechanics, punctuation, all those things that can be a little tricky have improved. Reading obviously has improved beyond what I expected. Well, I have always liked reading, especially classic literature, but still, I mean, open a variety of texts to consume has helped me a lot to improve my reading. Speaking, I don't know why I score so high in speaking. I'm not bragging. I still consider that I have some problems in speaking. Well, my personality in Spanish is the same in English. So if I stutter in English, it's because I really stutter in Spanish a lot. I have no idea how I have a girlfriend though. I mean, it's not like I'm a good speaker. And I should. I'm a teacher. Anyway. So, yeah, your language is gonna get better. Naturally. Because of that preparation. So, yeah, it's a benefit that you're gonna have there in the long run. Let's go with the part that maybe some people are going to pick to say, yeah, that's a good reason for me not taking the exam. There are negative parts in everything, okay? And I do consider the benefits outweigh any kind of issues that can come from these exams. So the first one I have here is these kind of exams are not as inclusive as they say. Yeah, they may have some considerations for the people who are hearing impaired or visually impaired, but for the cognitively impaired people, maybe they're not as considered. I know that it could be difficult for a person with a specific autistic, yeah, it's like with autism, yeah, that's the name of that condition. So with autism, certain things that they can do, they can specialize, and some others are kind of difficult. I have had autistic children in my classroom, and some of them have difficulties in language, which is natural, and you have to nurture them and let them grow in the way they can use the language, in a way that is more comfortable for them. And they are able to do it. But I still have like that conflict on schools that require their students to be on a B2 level of proficiency before graduating from high school. And I think about my students, and is he going to make it? Or is there other way to certify that he can be close to B2, taking into account some special considerations? By the way, the example I'm using about the school, they decided to make an exception on students with those conditions, and they don't have to comply with the B2 proficiency level. So, hey, great. But that's another issue I have. They're making them go away. So, okay, so you cannot do it, so we don't count on you. That's also grim. I mean, I don't like the way it sounds. So, as you cannot do it, so you won't do it at all. I think we should have a different way to assess people with special needs in their language level. So, well, those are my 2 cents. Maybe I'm gonna get shot for that opinion. I hope not. Negative point number 2. Many times these tests are taken as a requirement, and there are way too many people complaining about it. Even to a point that they go to social media and just start having like a rampage of comments and insults. Even they go to the British Council website to just try to insult people for making them take the exam. Well, people who complain about proficiency tests shouldn't take them. You're not maybe mentally or emotionally prepared to take it. And if you have that pressure over here, so, I mean, avoid it. Now, if it is a requirement for graduating university, like it has happened to some friends, well, you have to soak it up. You have to take it. Prepare yourself the best way possible and take the exam. Look for help. You may have some people around you who are language teachers or language users. Interact with the language, make amends with that part of you. But yeah, I understand, and I try not to have an argument with people who don't agree with proficiency tests like the Ielts as a requirement, especially the ones who want to graduate. I mean, they have spent 4 or 5 years in a university, they finished their pedagogical project or thesis or graduation paper, and yeah, they have done big efforts to study, and they cannot graduate because of a language test. Shouldn't it be optional for some people? But as I said before, benefits outweigh the problems, and if you go then after graduating, job hunting, you're gonna have an edge if you have a certified language: English, German, French, come on, even Spanish. So still, I understand your pain. Negative part 3. The tests can be extremely long and tedious. Yeah. So if you have low tolerance for being in a classroom 3 hours answering questions and then getting an appointment for a chat slash speaking assessment, yeah, you may not like it. Some people may ask, like, in the 21st century, why won't we have all the exams taken from home from our computers? Well, cheating. That's one of the reasons. It's pretty easy to cheat on an exam that is online. So paper-based tests are long but necessary. And I don't know, train yourself. Take a mock exam and don't stand up until you finish it. But yeah, these exams can be long, and I understand when people don't like those kind of situations, especially when they have problems managing anxiety or they're kind of hyperactive. So yeah, I understand why you're looking at this reason with a positive note, like, yes, I'm not going to take the exam because it's too long. No, you still should take it. Something that you have to bear with. I don't know if I'm mentioning more problems than I should. Well, there's one problem that I really hate: the expiration date on some of the tests, namely the Ielts. The Ielts is technically valid for only 2 years. So what, after those 2 years, you forgot how to speak or write or read or listen in English? Most likely no. Hopefully. But yeah, there are some tests with expiration dates, and one of the main reasons I took the CAE was that, the expiration date. I mean, I'd rather have an exam that I can, I don't know, brag forever and say, hey, look at this, I'm C1, C2, great. But having to take the exam every 2-3 years, it's not good economically. Economically, and it's not good mentally. So let's say here in Colombia, the exam is about 630 grand, give or take. Yeah, I'm not sure how much that is in dollars, like 300, 350. Yeah, prices might vary. I mean, it's 2020. The year has been horrible. Pricing is horrible. But yeah, the price is not as... Can I say this without being a jerk? It's not a reasonable price to be evaluated. Should it be cheaper? Yeah. Should it be cheaper in some countries? I don't know. I think it should be accessible to the most... Yeah, to most of us, without having to worry about the price. Yeah. So I don't know, the expiration date, I don't know if I'm having a problem with the date or with the money. Because maybe I should have said this from the beginning, but Yeah, your English level is going to fluctuate as you continue living. So maybe your level of proficiency in speaking is going to skyrocket in 2 years because you won't shut up, but you're a horrible listener, so your listening skill is going to be lower. Natural things happen. Maybe you stop writing for a year. Guess what? The next time you write, you're not going to be so good. So you see? I do understand why you should take the exam every 2 years. Your level fluctuates. I mean, I look at the writing tests. I should bring that. No, I'm not gonna bring that. But like the first time I took that exam, my writing test was in 5.5 in the Ielts. Then it went up to 6.5. Then it got down. Yeah, it decreased to 6. And then it got to 8. It fluctuates. Yeah, but still. Maybe you should get a discount because you took the Ielts before. Hopefully. So well, these are the reasons I see, like the benefits and the issues. I want to call them issues. I'm not going to use the opposite of benefits because there are more issues than things that are problematic in the end. But I do consider that we should take the exams if we can and if we are able to. And we should help the ones that are going to take exams later. Meaning this, should you take a training course for a specific exam? And this is going to sound pretty standard, but it depends on you. If you enjoy courses and you think that they're going to provide assessment in a good way, not just filling a book and reading and checking some exercises, but you get actual assessment on your productions, go for it. And should you get a tutor? Well, it's the same case scenario. However, if you can study independently with all these sources that we have right now, I mean, resources for language preparation tests are huge all over the internet. So if you can train alone, do it. I train, when I'm training for any specific test, I train reading solo. Writing, I do it with people. Speaking you have to do it with people. Come on. Speaking alone, are you crazy? Well, if you're here, you might be. You're listening to me. Come on. We know that the crazy way is the best way. Listening, you should do it solo. But yeah, it all depends on you. There are different training courses. Some of them good, some of them are not so good. So I'm going to be sincere. I haven't taken a training course for a standardized test. Maybe I should have, but I didn't need to. So, well, I hope that this can help you have some clarification of the ideas behind tests like the Ielts, like the CAI, like the PET. I may start a video series on recommendations to engage each part of the test. There are several in YouTube, so I hope my opinion is valid and maybe I give insight in a different manner, because there are some excellent videos from other channels. So it's not a competition, I'm just placing my 2 cents into the pot so more people have a successful proficiency test. And I want everyone to be certified, so come on, you can do it. So best of luck in your exam. I hope you kill it, and then you're happy with your certificate. Cesar off. Bye.